Hey guys, Road Warrior back here. I recently just took first place in a sponsored competition for 100 Baitcoins. The way this one was set up, it was for largemouth bass here at Quanchkin, only the unique count. Just one thing I will throw out there is make sure that you get accustomed to the spots that you're fishing. What are you going to miss on? You can't completely alleviate, whether it's pickerel. Sometimes, if you're targeting largemouth bass, know your spots. What are your blocker fish? What are you going to catch that's going to get in your way? That does help you out, as well as be aware of the respawn time. I know I caught that with about 8 minutes remaining, so that'd be 30-minute. It was a 45-minute comp, so I caught that, and I'll have about 8 minutes remaining minus the 30 minutes respawn timer. So always keep a mental note of that. Again, as I'm going through here on to spot 2. And I get this one out here fairly quick, so I know that one's available around the 6-minute mark minus 30-minute respawn timer. One thing I will tell you here is, if you notice by the timestamp, I waste probably 6 to 7 minutes. You will get a bunch of, sometimes depending on how you're casting, how lucky your casts are, you will end up getting a lot of weeds, branches, that sort of thing. But again, as I critique myself, I think you as a player also is something good to do. Are you over camping? Are you over rotating? In this particular situation, critiquing myself, I waited there way too long. I killed about 6 or 7 critical minutes that could have cost me. And again, as you're evolving and trying to get better in these sort of things, and you're trying to be competitive, it doesn't hurt to, especially with a lot of the spawn points that are close, any of your rotations that you guys are doing and stuff like this, don't hesitate to come over. As you can see, I got that one out a lot quicker. Knowing this here is not even edited. This is me just walking right back over here, knowing I haven't got this one out. Just the moral of the story again is I could have, left a little sooner, maybe got that and come back over, that sort of thing. But I did kill a great deal of time that could have cost me. But again, this is just the very first cast, walking right back over here again. Don't hesitate to leave a spot, in other words. Leave a spot and come back. You can always come back to it. And as you can see, that did pay off for me the very first cast, coming back over. Now going on to another spot. Kind of the same thing. You're going to have an X amount of trophies. I don't know the exact number, but sometimes it just seems unrelenting. You'll get trophy after trophy after trophy. Is it ever going to spawn the unique for you? Sometimes it just takes a lot of you just getting the blockers out of the way. Even though you're catching a target fish, you're not getting what you want, was ultimately the unique. Picked up a spotted bass there. Okay, at this point, I know I've got it thinned out fairly well. So I'm going to try one more cast here. And also, if you're struggling, make sure that a lot of times, like I said, I've talked about the barometric pressure before, but again, you might find a pattern where they're lower or up here, but you can kind of just see by the timestamp. Again, I've wasted a lot of time over here, kind of just know when to hold them and know when to fold them, that sort of thing. I definitely would also recommend, again, setting up 2 different rods. Maybe you like buzzbait with a nymph, that sort of thing. Bass jigs work well, obviously, so is spinners, but it's always good to have a multi setup. Maybe you have 2 rods ideally and something like this that you can just rotate back and forth. Figure out what's hot and what's not. Again, I've left that spot behind here, just showing you this in real time as I ramble, but I wanted to just kind of just make sure that you've seen this. That was me basically conceding the other spot, thinking I'm just going to come back to it again. And sure enough, very first cast, I get the unique, knowing that I can just rotate back again to the right side, where I just left the one behind. So we did get a nice unique there, 10.4 pounder. Come over, I end up getting one more blocker. At this point, again, having that multi-rod setup, where I just got 2 different rods, or dual rod setup, I should say. One with the bass jig, one with the spinner. Now, again, you could do a buzz bait on one. Maybe you like the frog popper for bass. Anybody that's fished for pickerel knows how that goes. You definitely get a lot of largemouth when you're and even spotted, if you're wanting to use a different setup. Just again, whatever your go-tos might be, have confidence in them. Once you've familiarize yourself with 2 different setups, I think that helps. It also saves you time. As you can see, I just rotated from the bass spinner to the actual bass jig with a pairing that I like. It's good to have different things. Again, here I got fairly lucky. This is a tough spot to get this one out of. I was able to dig this pig out, so to speak. He's just waiting there, and of course now the bass jig is warming up for me. So again, make sure that you're comfortable with having multiple setups, because sometimes you'll notice in the game in general, if you throw something not always the case, but there's times that you'll throw something over and over for whatever reason you're not getting bites anymore. That's when you kind of have to have the gut instincts to change out. Again here, noticing by the timestamp, even though that was available at the 8-minute mark, I sit over here for an eternity. Again, just kind of judging myself. I stayed over here way too long. That could have cost me. How many different things am I going to catch before I finally say, hey, dodo bird, why don't you go ahead and move on to the next spot? By then, I'm, getting down to the wire. I'm holding on to second place, but with those guys being able to catch. So again, it dawns on me, okay, light bulb went off. Let's go ahead and move. That spot is not going to produce for me. And I think myself and you could probably learn from this. Again, rotate out of there. Sure enough, if I would have stayed over there, I would have never caught this fish. And ultimately, that did propel me into first place in 100 Baitcoins. So I do hope this helps you guys out. It's not something that you can really teach. Sometimes I still struggle with it myself, but guys, work on your gut instincts. How long do you camp a spot out? When should you rotate? Kind of set yourself a time limit per spot. That definitely will help you. Again, you can always rotate back, guys. I hope this truly helps you out, and we will see you again in the next one. And again, there's great fishermen there. Good job to all you guys. That was a lot of fun, and I hope this does help you guys out, and we'll see you again in the future.